everybody, my name is Luke Marr and this is Hot Lamode, and today on Hot Lamode we are going to be talking about the best and the worst of London Fashion Week for the fall 2018 season. Before we get into the video, I have two things that I want to talk to you guys about. The first thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is the sponsor for this video, which is Poshmark. Poshmark is a fashion brand reselling site and app on your phone, and they have brands like Chanel, Balenciaga, McQueen, like Nike, Adidas. So it ranges from like lower end brands to higher end brands, and they have so many actual cool pieces on there, like cool designer bags and like cool vintage designer stuff too. It's actually like really awesome and I really like it. And I actually have a few pieces that are shoppable in my closet on the app as well. So I have like this H&M camel baseball hat and this really amazing vintage varsity jacket that I found while thrifting. I have a bunch of other pieces on there as well. And if you guys have your closets on Poshmark, you should definitely like post your handles in the comments so that like everybody else can see and we can all like look at each other's cool Poshmarks and what we have for sale. It's a great way to be like sustainable in fashion, and that's why I think it's such a great app. So if you guys want to see what I have for sale in my Poshmark closet, you can definitely download the app for free with the link in the description box below. If you guys are looking for a channel that talks about fashion and luxury fashion in an interesting, new, educational way, you can definitely hit the subscribe button because this is the channel for you. And if you like these fashion roundup videos, you can also hit the like button because that lets me know and then I can make more of them. Now let's get into the actual video. So usually I think London Fashion Week is quite prideful, a little bit full of itself, and really a little bit overall annoying. It could possibly be that I'm bitter that New York doesn't appreciate its young fashion creatives the way that London does, or it could just be a little bit of the truth. Kidding, sort of. I'm half British, so I feel like I have a right to say this. I'm joking. I do actually really like London Fashion Week. But luckily, this London Fashion Week really brought me out of the slump New York put me in. We'll start with one of my new favorites, Matty Bovin. I've been following Matty and his work for about a year or so and have never disliked it, but never really could understand how someone else could actually like it. I was in like a limbo with it. And it's always felt a bit artsy and craftsy, but I've always felt like I should keep watching, and this collection proved my inclination was right. Rich fabrics like tweed were perfectly elegant, yet thrown together, and were cut with sophistication. The mishmash of discarded and over-the-top materials also felt refined and elegant, which is surely a feat for any small designer. Being able to turn trash into treasure is something only a very few designers can actually do well. And let's talk about those headdresses by Stephen Jones, which were spectacular. But I was disappointed that he didn't use a newer or younger milliner. I think Matty would be great with a millinery relationship the same way that McQueen and Philip Treacy did. Next up was Del Pozo, who moved their show from New York to London, which I was very sad to see as it was another designer leaving New York, which made it feel a lot more empty than it already was. But this collection kind of depressed me. It's usually one of my highlights in New York, so I'm happy it got lost amongst the talent in London because it won't affect my depression as much. While it did have Joseph Font's bright flair and colors, we lost the powerful silhouettes associated with Del Pozo. And while it's admirable that Font branched out in terms of the many fabrics he used, the collection felt lost without the big, bold, experimental silhouettes associated with his clothing. His sculptural abilities weren't totally lost, as belts with what must have been large fabric flowers were present, which could possibly mean that Del Pozo could go into accessories. I wouldn't be mad at that. On to the next. Mary Catherine Zhu had me shooketh this season with her fashion evolution. She's usually on par with brand contemporaries like Erdem and Christopher Kane, although she's a bit lighter and has a lot more fun with the clothing. Her prints felt elevated and refined, her construction was super refined, and even though it felt a little bit Nicolas Ghesquière at Balenciaga, I didn't really care because it was giving me glamour. Usually Kane and Erdem are the young talent most people go to London to see, and I've never really gave Mary thought previous to this collection. collection. But I hope to see her promoted a lot more in the fashion press now that she has this really sophisticated, refined, beautiful collection. The most anticipated show of London was Burberry, due to Christopher Bailey's departure from the brand after 17 years. This show really proved it was time for Bailey to move on. A few days prior to the show, it was announced that Burberry would implement the pride flag into the show and that some of the proceeds would go to LGBT charities. And while I appreciate that Bailey is a gay man, I still must ask if he was using the LGBT community as a way to make himself look really good right before he left. The collection was hot garbage, and anybody that didn't say it was got paid, and paid well. The willy-nilly use of the Burberry plaid dumbed down both the collection and the stature that the plaid actually has. And whoever styled it needs to get shot. I'm sorry. It was really, really awful. We do have a few honorable mentions. Molly Goddard, sweetie, you're doing amazing. And as long as I get 1 to 2 Tulle Fantasy dresses a show, you can make as much normal people clothing as you want. Also, Erdem was great. He incorporated his floral fabrics with a much less stuffy atmosphere. Although I think if the queen was gonna go to any show, it probably should have been Erdem. Sorry, Richard Quinn, no tea, no shade, it's just the truth. And as for J.W. Anderson, Christopher Kane, and Simone Rocha, y'all better step your pussies up. J-Dubs and Christopher, it was fine, it was just a bit muted for you guys. And Simone, sweetie, come on, give us the real. We need to elevate it. We need something. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know what were some of your favorite and least favorite shows of London Fashion Week. And don't forget to check out Poshmark. The link is in the description box, as I said earlier. I will see you guys in the next video, so TTYL.